It's been 2 weeks since the earthquake and tsunami hit Japan, but many are still worried about what is happening with the nuclear reactors. State of Events reporter Ashley Larson has the details.
Thanks, Angela. Radiation comes in many forms and has been a big concern for many people in Japan. I spoke to two experts in the field who were able to explain what type of radiation is coming from the reactors and whether or not it could be a health problem. One of the after effects coming from the massive earthquake in Japan. And John Murnane, a professor of radiation oncology at UCSF, says it comes in many forms.
We're concerned about in Japan is ionizing radiation. This is very short wavelength radiation that's very high energy, and it ionizes molecules.
While radiation can be dangerous in high doses, Murnane says people need to understand how common it is.
Keep in mind that we are exposed to radiation every day. This is we have background radiation. It comes from outer space, it comes from the Earth. There's a certain amount of radiation that we get on a daily basis. So you have to keep this in perspective.
Since the earthquake, the highest level of radiation recorded was at Reactor 3 and measured 400 millisieverts. In comparison, the levels that killed many people in Chernobyl was over 6,000. Robert Carter, a nuclear physicist who worked on the Manhattan Project back in the 1940s, says many people are frightened by radiation because what they associate it with.
The first real public awareness of radiation and radiation effects came from the United States bombing Japan with those weapons. Any other exposure is much, much less than that.
Mr. Carter went on to say that the amount of radiation that could be released by the reactors is a tiny amount compared to what could cause big health problems to the people of Japan.
Ashley, we heard that people don't need to be worried, but what are some of the health problems that can come from radiation exposure?
Well, there's a really wide range of effects that radiation can have on people. There are tiny amounts that we're exposed to every day, such as getting an X-ray or a CAT scan, and those won't cause any problems. But in higher doses of radiation, it can lead to hair loss, vomiting, and even death. But these are in extreme cases where things that happen like an explosion or what happened in Hiroshima.
Okay. And there've also been some reports that radiation sensors in Sacramento are recording higher levels of radiation. Is this something that we need to be worried about here in California?
It's not. The equipment that tracks radiation is very sensitive. So even if it's a minor amount of extra radiation in the atmosphere, it's still not enough to have any effect on humans here in California.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Ashley.
you.